Hello and welcome everyone, I'm C.S.Gilmore and this is Tales from the Gilded Gob. So, today we're going to talk about my go-to class, the Cleric. Don't know why it's my go-to class, it's just one I usually end up playing. Anyway, particularly today I want to talk about evil clerics. Because they're a little twist on some of the usual narrative. Playing an evil cleric has its ups and downs, for various reasons. As I've said before, I believe, and will almost certainly say again, I tend to work with the party. If you're very much serving an evil deity, you're probably gonna have a little rough time with that. However, I've had great success with it in the past. Uh, During a previous game I played a cleric of Vecna. I was a knowledge domain cleric, and if I recall correctly, my knowledge stat was my intelligence stat and my wisdom stat were like my two higher stats. And part of the reason for that was because as a knowledge domain cleric, I got some wizard spells. Now, it's really funny because I got along great with the paladin in the party, and they were not an evil paladin. And the reason why I did is because I played lawful evil. I was evil in that I was out for myself. I had my goals. I was going to achieve my goals. But, don't break the law while you're in Paladin's sight. Don't. And why would they come after you then? We had some really great times. And I made it clear to the party right away that I was evil. We started off captured on a ship as prisoners in some campaign where this nation was scrapping up anyone with, I believe, divine connections. Something the DM had put together. So there was a cleric, the paladin, and a monk. We had a pretty small party. The monk, oddly enough, was the one who didn't trust me. Probably for good reason. Uh, anyway, we broke out of our prison. We managed through some pretty good rolls and some luck to there, and just things work out well. Some careful strategizing to take over the ship. We killed the crew. We killed the captain, and that was a tough fight because we were like level 1 at the time. We weren't. It was a. This is going to be a hard fight, but we got lucky. We got through it. It worked. And I began to immediately hint off that, gee, maybe I'm not all that straight and narrow by chucking the bodies of those crew members that had held us captive over the ship without giving them proper burial rites first. Let their souls wander the oceans. Now, another point I should make with the being an evil cleric thing, while I made my intentions clear to the party in a lot of ways, I was also still careful about it in general. For example, I would usually impersonate a different clergy. Just of the knowledge domain deities, like Ayun, or I don't know, there's so many you can pick from. But how I did that was I collected holy symbols and scriptures. And like the garments and everything. I collected all these different holy vestments and learned their scriptures and everything using my intelligence to, okay, good, so, all right, that's how they do that. Okay, that's how they perform their rituals. And my holy symbol of Vecna, since it was a focus for things, it led to a lot of fun role playing opportunities. For one, I had my holy symbol designed as like kind of a foldable puzzle thing, so I could fold it up and make it look like someone else's holy symbol. But then I could unfold it and make it, my actual holy symbol. The trick was then, and also I just, like I said, I'd collect them as I found them. If I found someone else's holy symbol or just some random holy symbol, I'd be like, to the keychain, click. And that made a lot of fun since a lot of spells have the focus being the holy symbol. And so if I failed the spell or something, we just joke around. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Nope, that's not the right one. Flip through the keychain. Where's my key? Where's my holy symbol? Where's my holy symbol? Okay, there we go. Found it. Now I can cast Guiding Bolt correctly. Things like that. It was a lot of fun. Also, I really liked the combination of a few mage spells mixed in with my cleric spells. Being knowledge domain, I focused on things that I was like, what would work for someone who's trying to get their way, get information, because my character's goal was to follow in Vecna's footsteps, to become a lich, become a god, which is not normal for a cleric, since liches are generally wizards, and ascending to godhood is a pain in the butt in D&D in general. Usually. There are ways around it, but my character didn't know what those ways were and was looking for that. And figured, well, if Vecna could do it and go from being a wizard to a lich to a god, why can't I figure something out as a cleric? And that's why he was a part of a worshiper of Vecna, was really he was willing to do what he needed to gain knowledge and power, but he was also part of Vecna's group because he figured Vecna's group was the best one to get info from. He wasn't the most faithful of members, and he would have left the religion if he felt it was better serving for him to do so. But, you generally also don't turn your back on the dark cults, because they like to hunt you down later if you do. So that was a whole lot of fun to play as and to work with the characters. Keep you on the paladin's good side. Always be like, well, we should follow the laws of the land very carefully. Very by the word of the law. Maybe not the spirit of the law always, but, we'll follow the word of the law. And, oh yeah, I don't mind taking out some other evil guy. They're in my way, too. At one point, we had some sort of necromancer, I want to say, come after the party. And he summoned a shadow demon. It was a horrible fight. We almost died. I managed to end the fight and get off with some really good rewards and kudos points with the town guard by hitting the necromancer with a suggestion spell. Wizard spell. But he failed his save. I got suggestion in, and my suggestion was, you want to surrender yourself to us, and you want to surrender and surrender and confess all your sins to the town guard. I think that was how I worded it. It was, you want to surrender yourself to us and confess all your sins to the town guard, because suggestion works with, it either lasts for 8 hours or until they meet the requirements, which is what you can fit in that 1 or 2 sentence phrase there. And so he surrendered to us. And then he came with us, and we walked him over to the keep where the town guard worked from, and we're like, hey, we got a guy for you. And as soon as he gets, sees, it's like, well, the town guard, he starts spelling out, I opened a portal below the city and unleashed horrors upon this world. We're like, he's your problem now. Bye. Chuck him over into the town guard's hands. Have fun. I think he'll be confessing until he's either done or until 8 hours are up. You might run out of time, so get a note in there, write down everything you can. It sounds like he's been busy. And we took a reward and skedaddled before they looked too closely at why someone like that may have come after us. Because we were kind of, in a strange land, and we had just escaped being captured and possibly sold off for some government experimentation on in entities. We don't know what happened there. Unfortunately, I never did find out what was going on entirely, because that campaign sputtered out after a while, but it was a lot of fun. And the characters we were able to work with. And that's one of the main ways I can think of to run a good evil cleric, is you can get along with the party still. Just figure out how. Be creative about it. If you're going to do evil stuff and the party's good, don't do it while they're watching. And maybe, toe that line between legal and illegal. It's like, yeah, that was really nasty. You probably shouldn't do that. But it was completely legal, so what are we gonna do about it? Other than be like, don't do that again, please. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh, well, opportunity over here. Another way you could do evil clerics, of course, is to do the blatantly evil, chaotic, more evil. Unfortunately, that has a bad tendency of falling into the evil stupid, where you're blatantly evil, stab the party in the back, and then get murdered by a said party because usually they aren't going to put up with that and they outnumber you. And while clerics can be really overpowered and good at both healing, combat, etc., it works out in different ways. And they aren't still always the most damage dealing under various conditions, especially when teamed up on by multiple other damage dealers. That said, if you're playing with more than one evil character, you can work out some fun sidelines. Well, the rogue there may not be walking the straight and narrow either. Hey, you want to help me get a hold of an evil relic? Sick. Let's go do it. Yeah, no, yeah. We don't tell the paladin. We don't tell the other people. Yeah, nope. The thing emanating evil is going in my bag. What are they gonna do if they don't know about it? Until it's too late. Now, of course, when you're following an evil deity, there are a lot of options to choose from, of course. Just a few besides Vecna come to mind, like Lolth, Tiamat. Some of the big names there. You can go all sorts of directions, and how your DM plays those gods or goddesses can really affect how you interact with them and how you move your character through. Ultimately, pick a deity that fits what you want to play like. In my case, Vecna worked because it fit my character's goals. He's a intelligence-based wizard type evil deity who's out for knowledge and power. So if I'm bringing him knowledge and power, he doesn't care if I'm swiping my own knowledge and power in the process. He probably already knows about it. He probably knows that what I'm after and maybe will hold that out for me in the future type of deal. You can work with that. Lolth might be a little trickier. She tends to be a little more chaotic and mad and likely to turn you into a trident. So, or insane. Maybe both. The Dark Elves have it rough. Just pick a deity that works with you. You can Google tons of them. You don't even have to go with current ones like the big names that people know. If you just wiki a bunch of D&D gods and goddesses, like you can even be very specific. I want a trickster god of what class? What race do I want? I want to play a halfling. Halfling trickster gods. What are options here? Good, medium, neutral, evil. Cool. There's a slurry of deities, or you can make your own. Assuming your DM's willing to work with you on that. There are so many things you can pick from. And I just recommend, pick one that aligns with their general motif, their general MO matches your own, so that you can get away with as they're being believably one of their followers and wanting to do that. Of course, you could start off following a good deity and then get your butt kicked out of the church because you were definitely, not following any of the tenets. And the gods are going to notice that. And that could be a fun role-playing opportunity for you and the DM to work out of like, okay, as you start doing these things, your power's waning. Maybe you cast a spell and there's a percentage chance it doesn't go off because your deity just says, no, I'm not granting that. Denied. Or maybe, they don't care about you enough because you're a noob and they're just like, yeah, whatever, I'll deal with that later. And they let you have some power for a bit. Or maybe one of your other order members finds out. It can be pretty bad if you get a paladin sicked after you as a bounty hunter, basically, going, You have betrayed the order. You will be stripped of your rank and everything else and be taken into custody or die trying. Death is an option. Depending on how you go, paladins can be a lot of fun to deal with, both for good and ill. Oh, what other options do we have here? Evil deities, evil clerics in general. You can almost, I mean, let's face it, some of the evil deities are also demons, so you could go into some weird directions. Uh, Lord of Murder, Baal, he's just like, yeah, whatever, go kill things. Sick. What if, DM, because I'm an actual follower of Baal, maybe I'm like a Baal spawn in some cases where I get, that urge to just go do something particularly violent and evil, that even whether I myself may not want to, just because this Baal took notice and went, yeah, that would be funny. There's so many ways you can play a cleric that involve interactions with your deity and interactions with your party members. I will say with my Vecna cleric, Vecna never really made an appearance. Probably because we didn't have time for it in the campaign. It just didn't happen. Also because we didn't get high enough level for it to matter. Vecna probably didn't take much notice of my actions, though I did get some pretty interesting progress on my quest, including finding a tome that let me have an extra spell slot. It was also cursed and had some horrible spirit come after me in my dreams and give me nightmares and try to kill me in my dreams, probably to possess me. Never found out what was going to happen with that. I kept fighting it off by gaming the system a little bit. I had an extra spell slot, so I just use remove curse on it and then go back to using it to study it some more and try to figure out how this tome worked and how I could get something out of it. Then I do remove curse again before the dreams got too violent and I stood at risk of losing my soul or getting trapped in the book myself with the whoever was in the book taking my body. There was things that could have gone horribly wrong in that, and it was a lot of fun. But it was a risk my character was willing to make for the chance at power and the aiming towards their goal. And that's where another part where you could kind of rub with your party the wrong way, or maybe they don't care. Yeah, okay, cool, we stopped the evil cult. Mind if I have that relic of theirs that they were summoning? It's for purely for academic purposes. I want to study it and make sure we know that we've sealed it away properly, and I will make sure it is never sees the light of day unless it proves useful to me. Just stick that in my pack. Thanks, guys. I'll make sure that doesn't cause you any more problems. Might cause the kingdom some problems down the line, but not right now. Also, now we may have a cult coming after us to get that back. Oh well. Not like we could beat them up once to steal it in the first place. Well, I think that's all I've got for evil clerics right now. They're a fun one to play. I tend to recommend play smart. Toe the line between being evil and self-serving, but not so evil that you're just destroying everything you come in contact with and inciting trouble for the party. No one likes you if you get the party in trouble with the town guard all the time. Kicked out of town, kicked out of shops. Yeah, it doesn't end well. And most of the time, those shops that you want to steal from are probably, or you want to cause trouble for, are better armed than you are anyway, especially at early levels. Never underestimate the magic shop. They have security. That security might involve sending you to another plane of existence and leaving you there. Have fun with that. Hope you can breathe wherever you end up. And maybe not get incinerated, frozen. There's so many other dimensions you could end up in. Yeah, don't do it. Well, everyone, good night. Hit like, hit subscribe to keep up with new releases. Comments below, have you ever played an evil cleric? How did you like it? How did it work well with your party? Did it not work well with your party? Fun adventure stories. Always love those. How did you work with your party on that? Perhaps was it an evil party? Was it a good party? Was it a neutral party? Just plain chaotic sometimes. There's so many ways it could go. I love hearing your stories. Let me know. Good night, everyone. Bye.